What's going on, everybody? I want to make a real quick video on my top 3 things that you should consider when getting into Amazon. A lot of people have been selling on Amazon for years, and for many, Amazon is something that they've heard about and want to get into, and they've probably signed up for like a webinar, seen a lot of content going around on YouTube and Instagram, and they want to get involved. And it's a great business. There is a lot of opportunity there. And so for anybody that is thinking about doing it or want to know whether or not it's a scam or if it's profitable, it's not a scam. It is profitable. It is profitable, but you got to know what you're doing, right? And so with that being said, the first thing that I would obviously consider when getting into Amazon is product selection, right? And research. Right off the bat, there's tools like Keepa and Seller Amp. These tools are going to allow you to find out how many sales a product does in any given month. And in knowing this, you will be able to determine whether or not this product is worth buying and reselling on Amazon. So if I find a product that has, 1,000 sales a month, that is going to catch my eye as compared to, a sale or a product that does maybe 30 units a month. I'm looking at the one that does 1,000 if I had to choose between the two. Now, the next thing that I'm obviously going to look at is how many other people are selling that product. So if somebody finds a product that does 1,000 units a month and there are 10 people selling it, well, we can use just simple math and say 1,000 sales divided by 10 sellers equals 100. So each seller is probably making around 100 sales of that product a month, which is not bad. You want to calculate how much profit you're making per unit, and using simple math, you'll be able to determine how much money you could make potentially selling that product, right? And so, again, you want to dive deep into these things using, again, Seller Amp and Keepa, really to determine, who is winning the buy box. What's the competitive price? I like to look at the offer count and see again who all is selling that product, but also check out their inventory and see whether or not their inventory is depleting, and really look at that 30-day time frame. That 30-day time frame will allow me to gauge how many units I should buy if I'm going to buy that product, because I like to try to sell out of my products within 30 days, 30 to 60 days, depending on what it is, right? And so based off of that information is going to allow me to assess whether or not a product that I'm looking at is worth buying, right? Again, if you already have a particular knowledge about any industry, I would recommend looking into that. So, for example, again, when you're looking for products to sell, if you like outdoors and you like to fish, well, why don't you start looking at things within that niche, right? That niche, if you will. People, know a lot about rods and lures and different types of, fishing string that you can use. Well, look into that. If you have experience selling hardware or hand tools, look into that. If you perhaps work retail, or if you've worked in a warehouse before and you see a bunch of brands, uh, look into that and really begin to get familiar again with the different types of brands within that niche. Again, if I'm looking at sporting goods, uh, sports equipment, well, I'm gonna want to familiarize myself with Nike, Adidas, Puma, and know what products to expect from them. And if I know that they're making shoes and shirts and socks, well, now I can get an idea of what they're generally going for online in terms of sale price so that when I'm searching online or if I'm in a store and I see something on sale, well, then I can just ballpark it and know, hey, this is a really good deal right here. There's potential, and this will actually help you again be able to select products that will sell by just familiarizing yourself with those brands and their product offerings, but then through scanning and product analysis, determine whether or not you're going to buy it to resell. Another thing that you'll want to consider, my second thing, is whether or not you want to focus more on Amazon FBA or FBM. So the big difference obviously is, and the thing that people love about selling on Amazon from what they hear, is that all you got to do is send your products in and Amazon does all the work. That's fulfilled by Amazon. And that is something that I focus a lot on too. I want to make sure that I don't have to do a lot of that work, because that is time consuming. And if you get a product that sells a lot and it is FBM, you can you can you can guarantee that you're going to be placing a lot of orders that day, right? So your day is getting products, putting it in a box, taping it up, printing the label, putting them there, either driving out to USPS, right, the United States Parcel Service, or UPS or FedEx, depending on how you ship those things out. And that's a good chunk of your day. And nobody really gets in Amazon to do that. But again, there's a lot of pros and cons to doing either one of the other. So again, before you move forward, you'd want to determine which one is going to be the one that you really want to focus on. So again, the benefit of going Amazon FBA, you don't have to do a lot of the packing and prepping. Amazon will take that responsibility, and they're going to be the one to handle that, as well as the customer service and the return. So you really don't have to worry about that. Again, the main thing for you would be to just actually get that material to your location once you receive it, and then inspect it and then ship it to Amazon. Other people do find products, especially if they're doing like a private label, where they can actually send that material directly to Amazon without it ever having to kind of stop at their place. But for me and the way that I do my business, I want to personally inspect and handle all the material, so that way I know that I am getting the quantities that I ordered. So if I order 300, I want to make sure that I get 300 pieces and that none of them are damaged. So that way I know, and I have that peace of mind, that prior to that material going to Amazon, all of it was there and all of it was in good condition. So again, that's Amazon FBA, and something that you would want to consider when and if you do it that way. Amazon FBM, right, fulfilled by merchant, is something that, man, I've had some items that took some time to actually get into inventory, right, through FBA, but I had plenty on hand. And so I was able to fulfill them myself, right, fulfilled by merchant or fulfilled by me, right? And so that whole day I was just getting orders, order after order after order, and I had to pack, prep, tape, label, ship, over 50 orders a day. And it was time consuming, and it was definitely something that I was really trying not to do. So as soon as I was able to get off of FBM, I tried, right? But again, one of the perks of actually doing FBM is that you will be able to turn your money quicker. When you think about Amazon FBM and the transit time from when that material actually leaves you and then makes it to the Amazon warehouses, well, sometimes it could take a few days, it could take a few weeks, and for me, sometimes it's taken several months. So for weeks and months, my material was just in transit, and I wasn't making any sales. I wasn't able to, again, open a claim or anything, because, well, that product was just in transit. Whereas FBM, you have the material, you're shipping it out, and so the moment that item has a tracking number, Amazon already starts to calculate that money going towards your payout. Whereas again, Amazon FBA, you got to wait all that transit time so that when that material finally begins to get into your inventory and ready for orders, once that material ships out, then Amazon will begin to calculate it for you, that payout again. But by then it could have been weeks, sometimes even months that you've been waiting for that inventory just to check in. So again, getting into Amazon FBA, you're going to want to consider which way you want to sell it. And FBM, you know, if you don't have the materials to ship and pack, well, you're going to have to go out and buy that. So that's additional costs. So do you have boxes? Do you have tapes? Do you have labels? Do you have a printer? All these things you've got to consider if you're going to do Amazon FBM. Again, between the two, according to how Amazon works and functions, if there are people who are selling that same product and they're selling it FBA, well, then the algorithm, the buy box, is going to favor FBA. It's quicker, and according to Amazon, they have that material in their hands and in their possession, so they're going to know that their handling time is a lot better. And again, FBA favors FBM a majority of the time. So you would want to go FBA if you can. Now, if you notice that on a listing, a lot of FBM sellers are dominating the buy box, and it looks like that there's not going to be an issue in terms of competition, well then FBM that baby and try to, you know, get your money turning. But again, make sure that you are considering the fact that you gotta have again the boxes, the, you know, the fillers, if you have any. If your product is fragile, do you have any you know, they call them packing peanuts, or any paper that you can pack in there to prevent that product from damage in transit. So again, FBM does have its own headache, if you will, but again, the pros and cons are there for you to weigh out to determine how you want to go with your business. Also, again, FBM doing customer service. If for whatever reason the customer is not satisfied with their order, with their again, the material that they get, they can request a refund, or they can return it, and you actually have to handle that yourself. And so that is something else additional that you've got to learn, that again, if you were just to do it FBA, Amazon will handle all that stuff, and you wouldn't really have to, again, bother with it. But FBM is your responsibility to communicate with the buyer if they want to return, scheduling that for them, helping them with that, and then also clicking the buttons to issue a refund. So consider that, right? And then I'll say the last thing would be the compliance and the legal side of things, for sure. Again, a lot of people have done FBA, they've done FBM, and a lot of people, they get popped, right? Their accounts get deactivated because they're doing drop shipping. Can you drop ship? Yes, you can drop ship, but there's a right and a wrong way to do it. You see, a lot of people, they do Amazon drop shipping, and they do it in a way that goes against Amazon's terms of service. And it's in writing, it's in right there, black and white. You can't miss it. If you are, again, doing your due diligence and checking into Amazon's terms of service, you will see that Amazon forbids people to buy things from Walmart and Target and any other place, and literally get an order and then go to Walmart or Target.com, buy it from there, and then ship it directly to the customer. They don't like that. It's forbidden. And if a customer reaches out to Amazon and say, hey, I placed an order on Amazon, but here I got a box from Target, well, then Amazon's going to look into it. And if it's you and they find out, well, then they're going to deactivate your account. Again, drop shipping. Can you do it? Yes. Is there a right way to do it? Yes. Is there a wrong way to do it? Absolutely. And a lot of people, again, have done it the wrong way, thinking that that it's okay. If you are to drop ship, you need to find a supplier that is okay with shipping blind shipments. And by blind, what that means is that it is literally an invoice that is has no affiliation with your supplier's business. So if I have ABC company and I'm buying products from them and they don't mind shipping directly to my customer, ABC company is not going to have an invoice that says ABC company. Their invoice is going to have my business information and the buyer's information. The invoice isn't going to have their logo. The box is not going to have their logo. It's going to be all generic, all, again, they call it blind shipping. So you would want to know whether or not your supplier can do that. Walmart's not going to do it. Target's not going to do it. But there are businesses out there that do ship blind. And if you can find them and again, it's okay with them, well, then you could definitely buy from them and ship it directly to your customer. Again, there are not too many that I know of. I do know plenty of them, but I think to people that are not privy or people who don't know about particular industries that do this, well, then you're left stuck thinking about your big box businesses, again, like the Walmarts and the Targets, who are not going to do that. So again, other things to consider in terms of the compliance and the legal side of thing is making sure that you're not shipping things that are like hazmat, making sure that a lot of the items that you're selling, you're even qualified to sell, right? Amazon, they want to make sure that they are not only protecting the sellers who are the big, that's a big part of their business, and what they're trying to do is protect the buyers. I'm sorry, they're trying to protect the buyers, the customers, but they're also trying to protect the brands, right? So if the big brands out there that are selling on Amazon or have products being sold on Amazon, Amazon has an obligation to protect them too. And as a seller, we kind of we fall in that weird place of like Amazon allows this and in a tiny way kind of need us, but because it is their platform, it is their business, we are kind of on that bottom part of the ladder, the lower rung. We are not nearly as important as the customers or the brands that are being sold on their platform. Because if Amazon wanted to, they could take over all the listings and sell all that stuff. But again, that would just be more work for them, where for us as sellers, we kind of alleviate a little bit of that tiny portion of what Amazon would have to do, and we do that in terms of sourcing and things like that. So again, understanding the compliance and the legal side of Amazon is very important, because there's been horror stories of people whose accounts have been deactivated because, again, they were not obeying the terms of service. Recently, Amazon did an update to their platform where any brand that was listed under generic, so some people were creating listings and putting name brand products on there, and in the brand registry they were putting generic and not putting Nike or Adidas, and they just left that again open to say generic. And so Amazon actually went and just deactivated and deleted all of these listings. So there were people out there who had spent thousands of dollars on products and merchandise under this generic product listing, only for that listing to disappear, and now they're left holding all this inventory. Again, people have done things where they've gotten their accounts deactivated, and when your account is deactivated, everything about that account is frozen, right? So that means that even the money that you have in there, the money that is in your account, the inventory, everything is going to be deactivated. In most cases, people who are willing to fight it are also looking at, you know, paying for an attorney and legal counsel to represent them and get these, you know, accounts reactivated. And it's a whole hassle. Sometimes, you know, there's a way that you can um, get it unfrozen, but it's probably one of those feelings where, you know, your heart just drops and your account is deactivated because of something that you did, perhaps knowing that you shouldn't do, or even just out of not knowing, right? Out of ignorance, you just didn't know, you know, something, and then Amazon just decided to, you know, pull the plug on your account. And there goes your business and, you know, everything that you worked so hard to do. So again, for those of you who are considering getting into Amazon, these are just some of the things that I would personally consider, you know, getting into it. And as I continue to create more content, obviously I'm gonna go into other topics and other things more in depth. But just in a general, real quick overview of what you can expect selling on Amazon, those are, you know, for me, the top three things is, again, what are you going to sell? How are you going to sell it? And making sure that the way that you do it is within Amazon's terms of service. So I hope you found some value in this video. Go ahead and drop a comment, give it a thumbs up, follow the channel. Obviously, as I continue to create more content for you, I'm hoping that it's going to help you achieve what I hope to accomplish, not just in my personal business, but for you who is out there, you know, thinking about getting started, is to help you increase in sales. If you haven't even started yet, I want to be able to help you get to $10,000 in sales per month as quick as possible. If you are selling and are not there yet, I want to help you do that. And again, building a community online and also in person. If you are in San Antonio, Texas, or in the surrounding areas and want to be a part of the community that we're building here, again, go ahead and follow me here on YouTube. You can find me on my social media here. Again, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. So follow me there. Follow the journey as I continue to create content for you to help you grow your Amazon business. Until next time, guys, again, my name is Daniel, and I'm out.